Good evening and welcome to your English news package with Radio and Television Tonga for the hour. Making headlines, deliberations in Parliament will resume next week and will continue with the unseating process. Annual Budget 2022-2023 among the agenda when Parliament resumes on Monday. And Tonga wears red in support of the Matema Tonga playing against the Kiwis next month. We'll have these and more stories later on in the bulletin, and now for the stories in details. This morning, only one cabinet minister applied for stay judgment at the Supreme Court, which is the finance minister. As such, the Legislative Assembly of Tonga will proceed with the unseating process once the House resumes, which is next Monday. The Speaker of Parliament, Lord Whawhanua, in an exclusive interview with Radio and Television Tonga News says, only a court order or a declaration from court would defer the unseating process of convicted members of Parliament. As of this morning, the Finance Minister applied for stay judgment, and if granted, he will not be unseated on Monday. Meanwhile, the rest of the three members of Parliament will be unseated. The process will depend on the declaration from the Supreme Court, and if there are changes on the declaration or a court order for the judgment to stay, we will have to follow it, as that is the only process that could hold the unseating process once the House resumes on Monday. Since last month, 4 members of Parliament have been convicted for bribery, and all have confirmed that they will appeal at the Court of Appeal, as they are entitled to under the Constitution of Tonga. The process of appealing against the Supreme Court's ruling will take days, and the Speaker confirmed that the operation of the House will have to continue and will not have to wait for the result of their cases. The issue is outside of Parliament. It is between the individual and the Court of Appeal. The House was adjourned to next week due to the budget. That 1 week was an opportunity for them to apply for the stay judgment and to file their appeal cases. It is their constitutional right to appeal within 42 days. But the House will not wait during that period, as it will have to continue with its operations and deliberations. We will continue with the unseating process unless the application for the stay judgment was granted. 4 members of Parliament were convicted for bribery. 3 of them are cabinet ministers. They are the Deputy Prime Minister, Honourable Boasi Mataele, Finance Minister, Tatafu Toma Moyaki, and the Internal Affairs Minister, Sione Singstar Saulala. The 4th MP convicted for bribery at the Supreme Court last month was the former Prime Minister, who is the People's Representative of Tongatapu 10. As the House will resume next Monday, the agendas include the budget 2022-2023, unseating of convicted MPs, and the swearing-in ceremony of MPs who were yet to take their oaths as members of Parliament. With Parliament deliberations to resume on Monday, the Speaker of Parliament is hoping the deliberations on the annual budget 2022-2023 should be more detailed for the people to understand the current financial situation. Paula takes up that story.
The Speaker of Parliament, Lord Whawhanua, says the Legislative Assembly has the right to respect every single penny used by the government, as it was taken from every taxpayer in Tonga. I believe that every money used by government was taken from the salary of Tongan citizens who worked hard to earn this money, and we need to respect that effort by ensuring every single penny used is spent and invested wisely. In my role as the Speaker of Parliament, I try my best to see that there are no barriers in reviewing our work, to ensure there is transparency and accountability in what we do, and to ensure there is no disintegrity and corruption. That is why this project is important in upholding the impartiality and reputation of the Legislative Assembly. The 2022-2023 appropriation bill has been submitted from government to the Office of the Speaker of the Legislative Assembly of Tonga, together with the budget statement. This is the perfect time for the members of Parliament to read the budget statement 2022-2023 before the Parliament resumes on Monday next week. This budget statement from the government will be audited by the Auditor General to ensure this money will be used according to the plans and formation of the budget. The acting Auditor General, Semisi Makakaufaki, says the Ministry of Finance will report on the government financial statements to the audit to determine whether the process of collecting and spending public funds and other relevant transactions is in line with the state laws and regulations, to determine whether there is any misbehavior in the management of public revenue and expenditure. Within the law, the annual budget needs to be ready within 6 months from the financial year. So this current financial year will end on June the 30th. The Finance Ministry will audit the financial statement to be audited by the Auditor General, so before December of the year, these financial statements to be ready within 8 months after the financial year, and the report must be submitted to the Finance Ministry on the last day of February of every year. So it is the duty of the Auditor General every year is to audit and review the financial statement submitted by the government, and this is compiled by the Ministry and submitted to the Auditor General. Meanwhile, there are 2 laws that allow the Auditor General to examine whether the budgeting process is operating effectively, which are Public Audit Act 2007 and the Public Finance Management Act of 2002. Paula for Radio and Television Tonga News.
The Tonga National Youth Congress are looking forward to their new office to replace the current office they are working in. This follows the announcement made by the Acting Minister of Internal Affairs yesterday during the 3-day National Youth Conference hosted by the Tonga National Youth Congress. The Acting Minister of Internal Affairs, Dr. Latu, says youths are the most important group in a country and therefore needs to be taken good care of as they are the leaders of the future. As such, the office where work is being carried out in implementing projects for the youth also has to be in an excellent condition, which could be renovated or rebuilt. In the 2016 census, 32% of Tonga's population were people within the ages of 15 to 34. This generation faces many challenges, especially with the impacts of illicit drugs, as well as other social challenges, and we are thankful that there is an organization that stands together with the government to support and implement youth-related projects to address these issues for the youth of Tonga. I understand that the current office of the Tonga National Youth Congress is in a very poor condition, and the Cabinet has been talking about looking at building a new office for the Youth Congress. Meanwhile, the program coordinator from Tonga National Youth Congress, Samuela Halahala, says they are excited with this announcement because their work can be done in a more secure environment as they have been facing various challenges based on the current situation of the office. The current office of the Tonga National Youth Congress is located at the Kausela Road opposite the Magistrate Court at Fasi. We are so excited and looking forward to our new office as announced by the Minister, hopefully by the end of this year. Tonga National Youth Congress, we have various programs, including programs to address social problems. We have workshops and conferences in place, such as this one. Another area is the environment, where we have planted mangroves to protect coastal areas. Another area is the strengthening local businesses. The recent one we've had is water purification on water tanks that we've been carrying out since the volcanic eruption in January. So all these things are a stepping stone in helping our youth look for other better opportunities in life, whether it's sports, education, employment. So we are grateful that we will have a new building to work in, which provides a safer and a better environment for the youth. The Tonga National Youth Congress was established in 1991 under the Education Ministry. However, in 2006, the government set up a youth division under the Ministry of Internal Affairs, having the Youth Congress break out and become a NGO. The purpose for the establishment of the Tonga National Youth Congress was to prioritize areas that need to be strengthened for the youth, including unemployment, social problems, drugs, and others. The latest from Supreme Court on the request from the Finance Minister, Tongatapu People's Representative
Today was a historical day for Tonga to witness for the first time the Supreme Court granted an applicant with a stay in the court's ruling. The applicant was the Finance Minister, Honourable Latu Moimoi. The Finance Minister was convicted in the Supreme Court for 2 counts of bribery earlier this month. However, following this evening's ruling, Moimoi will not be unseated on Monday as the House resumes for deliberations. Moiaki's legal counsel Tongatapu told the court that the MP's role is significant to the nation, especially with the budget estimate for 2022-2023, as he is the Finance Minister and this is top of the agenda for Parliament next week. The Lord Chief Justice Whitten ruled that the outcome of today's application will be delivered by the Attorney General to the Speaker of Parliament, Lord Fafanua, before 9 a.m. on Monday as the House will resume at 10 a.m. Meanwhile, from the Supreme Court again, another victory for the current Member of Parliament. Esakeke, the People's Representative of Tongatapu number 5. He won the civil case against him by his fellow candidate from Tongatapu number 5 during the November election last year, Akanete Lauti of Vauto'o. The Lord Chief Justice Whitten ruled that Eke is found not guilty of bribery allegations and for the petitioner to pay the costs in the proceedings.
The Court of Appeal has re-adjourned the appeal case of former MP and former Minister Lavulavu to the next session for the Court of Appeal, which is later in the year, following the request from his legal counsel. Paula again with that story.
The request was submitted by the appellant's legal counsel, William Clive Edwards Jr., on behalf of Lavulavu's legal counsel, William Clive Edwards Sr., who is currently on a 2-week medical leave. Lavulavu's appeal case will then adjourn to the next session of the Court of Appeal later in the year, together with his wife, the former MP and Cabinet Minister Akosita Havili Lavulavu. The Lavulavu's case was based on the judgment by Justice Nicholas Cooper last year, after both were convicted for 3 counts of obtaining more than 500,000 pa'anga by false pretense. Justice Cooper sentenced the Lavulavus to 6 years imprisonment, while Akosita had 1 year of suspension. Edwate is currently serving his 6 years of imprisonment, while Akosita serves her remaining 5 years at Huatolitoli prison. The appeal case had its first hearing yesterday via Zoom due to border closure, but unfortunately there was technical problem via the internet and resulted in a slow network of the Zoom. The appeal was then adjourned to 2 o'clock yesterday afternoon, and again due to internet failure, the judges re-adjourned the appeal case for 11 this morning. However, the legal counsel for the Crown is Emisi Lutui, the prosecution director of the Attorney General's office, while William Clive Edwards Jr. for the appellant. Meanwhile, this is the first Court of Appeal for the year 2022 with all the judges from New Zealand, namely Justice Peter Blanchard, Tony Renderson and Rodney Harrison. From the Supreme Court, for Radio and Television Tonga News, I'm Paula.
And every Friday is a red day for government ministries and other private sectors, also the people, to show their support for the Mate Tonga team as they prepare for the test match against the Kiwis at Mount Smart Stadium next month. Alice Tupo with that story.
Red Friday was usually carried out in previous years for supporting our Mate Tonga team, and today was a beautiful day in town with the Tongan flag and banners of the team posted up on many government ministries with staff wearing red and white in support. Tonga Statistics Department also participated in supporting Mate Tonga team together with Tonga Broadcasting Commission. The CEO for the Ministry of Internal Affairs, Dr. Foto Fisiahi, told Radio and Television Tonga News that the test match will be held next month and everyone is looking forward for Tonga playing. I am excited that the people of Tonga are accepting my request to wear red every Friday as part of our support for the Mate Tonga team. I just drove past Hahake district and I can see that residents are supporting our team in decorating their homes with red and white drapes. As you can see at our office here and our office at the old Tonga Water Board, My staff were excited to stay after working hours yesterday and help in decorating our offices with red and white colors, also the flags. They also put up this boast of the Tonga team. Our t-shirts were just shipped in from New Zealand and arrived yesterday, so we are wearing it today as part of our support. I also acknowledge here to Paula as I'm happy that he wants to communicate with the director of the sports department, Onetoto Anisi, and his staff in preparing programs in calling the people to support Tonga team. We will also use radio and television Tonga and other radio stations in providing programs for 1 month to build up our support for the team to the World Cup. He also explained about the challenges Tonga faced in the past months, and Tonga team playing again provides another level of excitement for Tongans here around the world. In the past 3 to 4 months, we faced many challenges like the devastation on the 15th of January and now COVID-19. People are feeling down because of the lockdown and restrictions, but with Tonga playing next month provides our people with gladness, something we are all looking forward to, and we forget that we were affected from the devastation and COVID-19. I believe that Tonga's game provides an opportunity for our people to feel happy and let go of the past, because we need to move on to the future. The call is for everyone to show their support to the Tonga by wearing red every Friday in support of their test match on the 25th of June. Reporting for Radio and Television Tonga News, I'm Alice Tupo.
Sports is next with Mark Ake.
Tonga Development Bank does not charge you levy for using its currency exchange or DD services.
Welcome to this evening's sports package. In the local sports scene, Tassenok has confirmed seats for 2 sporting events for the 22nd Commonwealth Games in Birmingham, England in July. The Secretary General of Tassenok, Takitoa Tamuepeau, confirmed to Radio and Television Tonga Sports that Tonga has qualified for weightlifting and men's sevens. He also mentioned that they are working on other sports to qualify as well. As it stands, there are so many challenges because of COVID-19, and so most of our athletes are training and preparing overseas, and we're working closely with different sporting committees who determine who qualifies so we can get athletes in. Weightlifting has been confirmed, and so has men's rugby sevens, which qualified after their qualifying events was cancelled. At the same time, we're working with sport committees for athletics, boxing, swimming, and wrestling to ensure they're at a high standard. We've confirmed 4 swimmers who are to be judged based on their placings in different events, so we're trying to make sure these athletes are close as they could possibly be to qualify before we confirm their names to the country. Taumuepeau also talked about Tonga's history in competing in the Commonwealth Games, which we qualified to in 1970 once we became a member of the Commonwealth Federation. Our first ever Commonwealth Games was in 1974 in Christchurch, New Zealand, so at the time that was the second major event we competed in, the Pacific Games and the Commonwealth Games. Then in 1984 we joined the International Olympic Committee, making it the third major sporting event for us to participate in. Since our Commonwealth Games debut back in 1974, we've never missed any events. We won bronze in boxing in the 1993 Vancouver Commonwealth Games, and then again in India in 2010. The Birmingham Commonwealth Games will run from July 28th to the 8th of August.
Before we part, is a final look at tonight's top stories. Deliberations in Parliament will resume next week and will continue with the unseating process. Annual Budget 2022-2023 among the agenda when Parliament resumes on Monday, and Tonga wears red in support of the Tonga playing against the Kiwis next month. That's it for tonight. Thank you for your company. I'm Malia Gutemel. Have a blessed evening.